Hey there guys, it's Silver, your host, and we are back for another simple Digivolution guide. Today I'm going to show you how to Digivolve your Kunemon into a Kabuterimon. And before we begin, could I ask you, if these guides have been helpful to you, to subscribe, please and thank you. I'm trying to get the channel to 500 subs by the end of summer. Anyway, let's continue. Right, in order to get your Kunemon to be a Kabuterimon, you need to hit the following stat requirements. First of all, let me deal with this rebellious Kunemon. Good. First of all, you need to have his HP stat above 1000, his MP stat above 1000, his offensive stat above 100, and his speed above 100 also, while having one or less care mistakes. Now for this guide I would recommend you don't get any care mistakes at all. What contributes to a care mistake, you might ask? Well, those are going to the toilet on the floor, neglecting to feed your Digimon when he needs it, or refusing to let him sleep. Fatigue from tiredness does not constitute a care mistake. So I'm going to give this guy a portable potty, and then we will resume in a few minutes once his stats have been increased. Keep in mind that another good way to raise your Digimon's stats, if you can afford to do so, and also lower his tiredness from training, is to take him to the restaurant. As you will see here, he enjoyed the burning hot curry, his offensive power went up by 3, brains went up by 2, happiness went up, and importantly, tiredness went down. Now I would strongly recommend that you take your Kunemon to rest after every 5 training sessions at the gym. So after you've used a piece of training apparatus 5 times, or 5 times total, take him to Centaur Clinic or to Jijimon's house to rest. It's important for you to rest because if you overtrain your Digimon and he becomes fatigued, it will drain away his happiness and discipline. And while that isn't a care mistake, it can negatively affect some Digimon that have happiness and discipline requirements tied to their Digivolution. So come to Centaurumon, he will tell us that Ace seems a bit tired, and he's going to rest. So, just a practical tip for you people using this guide. You can apply it to all of my guides, and I will resume once we are a couple of days into Kunemon's training, so you can get an update on his stats. Alright, we are back, and we are now solidly a couple of days into Kunemon's training. His stats, if you've been following my advice correctly, should look something like this. There may be some variation because of my save data, but you should be putting focus, like I said, on HP, MP, offense and speed, while making sure you don't make any care mistakes if at all possible. You can also see that my Kunemon needs to go to the toilet. I also have some advice for you that I have learned while making these guides. A Digimon with higher discipline, in other words, the bottom of his 2 right-hand corner bars, if that bar is in the yellow, which means they have higher discipline, they will need to go to the toilet less often and will also hold it for longer when they do. Alright, I'll resume in another day's time when we've finished building up Kunemon's stats and he is about ready to Digivolve into Kabuterimon. I would also recommend, for the purpose of this guide, that you spend at least some time padding out your Kunemon's secondary stats. In other words, the stats that aren't necessary for him to Digivolve once you've managed to hit the requirements for all of the core stats, so that when he does become a Kabuterimon, he's much more well-rounded. Here I will be focusing on brains, and also doing a bit of defense training as well. And there you have it. We have ourselves a nice, well-raised Kabuterimon. Let's have a look at his stats. They're fairly solid for a beginner champion. And he's also very flexible because he can learn several different types of moves. Now, if this guide has been helpful to you guys, do feel free to leave a like. And, consider sharing it out amongst your friends on social media. We also have a Nanimon only playthrough, where we attempt to finish the entire game with only a Nanimon in the works. So if you want to check that out, I will leave the link to the playlist somewhere on screen. If you've appreciated this guide, thank you very much. I aim to please, and I will see you in the next guide. Feel free to make some recommendations. So guys, I have been Silver, your host. Have a fantastic morning, afternoon or night, and I will see you again very soon. Take care guys.